The information shared on the Go Beyond Therapy podcast is provided for informational purposes only and should not be considered a substitute for professional advice, therapy, or medical care. While we aim to share helpful strategies and insights, it's important to remember that every child and family is unique. While we encourage listeners to consult with qualified professionals who can provide personal guidance based on their specific circumstances, any strategies or approaches discussed are general suggestions and may not be suitable for everyone. We disclaim any liability for reliance on the information shared in this podcast and remind listeners to use their own judgment when applying any ideas or strategies mentioned. Welcome to the Go Beyond Therapy podcast, where we dive into the heart of supporting children with diverse needs. I'm Samantha Taylor, a pediatric occupational therapist passionate about helping children and families thrive. This podcast is all about creating a welcoming space for our entire disability community, from families, therapists, disability support workers, and anyone dedicated to supporting children on their unique journeys. At Go Beyond Therapy, we believe in empowering families at every stage. Through this podcast, we'll explore practical strategies and share valuable resources like tools and education approaches that can make a meaningful impact. We'll connect with other professionals, parents, and advocates who are all working towards building a more inclusive and supportive community for our kids. Whether you're navigating everyday challenges, looking for new approaches, or just need a reminder that you're not alone, you're in the right place. Hello, and welcome to another podcast episode of the Go Beyond Therapy podcast. I'm Sam Taylor, occupational therapist, and today I wanted to have a real chat around parenting from a unique space where you are neurodivergent yourself whilst also raising a neurodivergent child. Now, let's just be honest. Parenting is hard. Parenting a neurodivergent child is harder. And when you, as the parent, are also wired differently, well, that just makes it all the more challenging. If this sounds familiar, please know you are definitely not alone. In this episode, we're going to explore why this space is uniquely challenging, why it's important to normalize your own emotions and reactions, and we'll share gentle strategies that you can start weaving into your day to support yourself and your child. Let's get started. I hear parents all the time say to me, I should be able to stay calm, I should know better, I shouldn't be triggered by my own child's behaviour. But here's the truth, when your nervous system is already running on empty and your own sensory cup is overflowing, of course it's hard to stay calm. You're not a robot, you're human. You're doing your best in circumstances that most people will never actually understand. And here's something I want you to take away with you today. Self-awareness matters more than perfection. So let's take a sneak peek. When both you and your child are neurodivergent, it's really common for your triggers to overlap and interact. For example, your child's noise sensitivity and your own sensory challenges clash a lot. When your child needs the sameness, but you're also ADHD driven for a novelty, it just causes friction. And when your child's emotional dysregulation then challenges your own emotional relations, it's hard. This can create a loop of escalation where you react to their dysregulation and they react to yours, and it just keeps building and building and building. Understanding this loop is really empowering because it reminds us that it's not about being a bad parent. It's not having a child that behaves badly. It's just two nervous systems doing their best to co-regulate in a very tricky moment. And both of you are just doing your best. Now, let's explore what can actually help. Again, spoiler alert, it's not going to be a quick fix. It's not going to be a magical wand where everyone regulates perfectly and you don't get triggered. But here's very easy, gentle, doable strategies to support both yourself and your child. Strategy number 1, prioritize your own regulation first. I know this can feel impossible some days, but hear me out. Your regulation is the foundation to your child's regulation. I'll say that one again. Your regulation is the foundation for your child's regulation. When your child's having a meltdown or struggling with a transition, your nervous system is naturally going to respond with frustration, shutdown, overwhelm, or even panic. It's actually biology. It's not bad parenting. But when you can find ways to ground yourself first, it creates a calmer emotional anchor for your child to attune to. This is called co-regulation, and it's at the heart of how children learn how to manage their emotions. Put simply, co-regulation means that our children borrow our calm when they can't actually access their own. Their nervous system looks to ours for safety cues. Think of it as being on a small boat together in choppy waters. If you're both swaying wildly, the boat tips really easily. But if one person can steady themselves, even just a little, it helps stabilize the whole boat. Now, this doesn't mean that you have to be perfectly calm all the time, because honestly, no parent is. It's about having small tools that you can use in the moment to slow things down for both of you. Here is a few simple ways to prioritize your regulation while supporting co-regulation. Notice your cues early. Pay attention to the first signs when you're dysregulated. Your tight jaw, shallow breath, racing heart, clenched fists. The earlier you notice your regulation and your dysregulation, the easier it is to intervene. Take a micro pause. Every 10 seconds can help. If safe to do so, step into another room, take some deep breaths, deep belly breaths, and regulate where you are. Next, we've got physical grounding. So press your feet firmly into the ground, hold a cold object in your hand, run cold water over your wrists. These sensory inputs can help signal safety to your nervous system and help calm yourself down. Narrate out loud. This model co-regulates for your child. So you might say something like, I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed. I'm going to take some deep breaths so I can help us both. Give yourself permission to basically just give yourself that moment. I need a moment to calm my body so I can help you. And this models self-regulation and shows them it's actually okay to pause. If your child is a safety risk, of course you need to stay with them. So in those moments, even internal grounding, slowing your breath, softening your tone can be a powerful co-regulation tool. Remember, self-regulation isn't selfish, it's leadership. And through co-regulation, you're helping your child build the capacity to eventually regulate on their own. Strategy number 2 is create predictable routines where possible. I know this is really challenging for a lot of our families when things are so unpredictable at the moment. School pickups are unpredictable, appointment changes, kids getting sick, work commitments, everything is just so up in the air. But for both neurodivergent parents and children, predictability creates safety. That when the world feels chaotic and when our own executive functioning is overloaded, routine helps like a bit of an anchor. They reduce the number of decisions we need to make, they lower stress, and they can help both us and our kids know what's coming up. Now, this doesn't mean that life needs to run like a military operation. Flexible, kind routines are often more helpful than really rigid ones. It's about building rhythm in your day that supports you and your child, like an island of predictability where your little household can just stay on your little island of predictability. And then when they have to go on and off this island over the course of their day to school and to work, you can come back to the normality and the predictability when you get home. Here are a few ways that you can weave in predictability routines at home. Start with 1 or 2 key parts of your day, so you don't have to look at your entire week or overhaul everything. Often starting with mornings or bedtimes is most helpful. What are 3 to 5 steps that are happening every single morning? What is a consistent bedtime flow? Even simple order like bath, pajamas, story, lights out can create this sort of powerful predictability with rhythm. Use visual support. Many neurodivergent brains, both kids and adults, process information visually. Having a visual schedule, either pictures or written steps to help make routines really clear and reduce the need for constant verbal prompting, because when you probably know yourself, when you're just talking at a child, trying to verbally prompt them, it's not going to work really. You can use a whiteboard, print out pictures, use an app, whatever works for you and your family, but using visual supports as a bit of a checklist in those routines that happen every single day will help relieve some of that stress and anxiety. Next, we can have a look at built-in transition cues. Transitions are often challenging for neurodivergent kids and parents. A transition cue can be a gentle warming that change is coming, putting on a 5-minute timer, putting on a particular song, or a simple verbal cue of 2 more turns, and then we're going to pack away. These cues can help sort of shift from one activity to the next with less stress, basically. Next, keeping routines flexible but predictable. Life with additional needs often comes with unpredictability. So these are appointments, meltdowns, fatigue days, but that's okay. The goal isn't perfection. It's creating a scaffolding that helps everyone feel more secure. You might prompt your family to say, normally we do X, but today we're doing Y, and here's what will stay the same. This helps maintain a sense of stability, even when things change. So yeah, keeping flexible routines, but keeping them predictable. Not changing the whole routine, but keeping things flexible that maybe you have an extra 10 minutes up your sleeve for the school run because the teeth brushing is going to take an extra few minutes today because it's just one of those days. Use routines for your own regulation too. As a neurodivergent parent, having simple routines can really help support your regulation. So things like a morning checklist. So cognitively, you don't have to hold all that information in your brain. A short evening wind down routine, which is not scrolling on your phone. This might be a warm cup of tea at the end of the day. It might be a hot shower. It might be some breathing exercises, journaling, whatever this looks like, but it helps remind your body that you're coming into bedtime. Regulate self-care bookends in your week. So actually book in self-care. If that's going for a 15-minute walk before you pick your kids up on a Friday afternoon. But actually booking in time, it's not a negotiable because I find a lot of parents these days are they feel like they just have to do it all, which you don't. You need to find time to help yourself first. These small anchors can help reduce fatigue and help you feel more grounded, making it easier to actually co-regulate with your child. Our final strategy that we're going to talk about today is practicing self-compassion. Now, this one is an absolute close topic to my heart because I hear so many parents talking about how bad they are at parenting and managing their children's behavior. And kindness and self-kindness goes a very long way. When things go off the rails, and they will, how you speak to yourself matters more than you might think. So often as neurodivergent parents, they carry an invisible backpack full of shoulds. I should stay calm. I should be more organized. I should have handled that better. I should be able to do it all. But when life gets messy, and it always does, those shoulds turn into this shame spiral. And they often then translate into, I'm hopeless. I failed my child. Other parents would cope better than I do. And it becomes sort of this identity that it goes from being, I should have stayed calm, to I feel hopeless, to I am hopeless. And it becomes part of these parents' identity, which is really, really heartbreaking. So let's pause, breathe, and we're going to flip this on its head. Self-compassion is more about learning how to treat yourself the way you would treat a friend, with kindness and understanding and a huge dose of reality. Because the truth is, parenting in this space is really complex. You are navigating your child's needs and your own needs. You're navigating a system, if it's NDIS, education system, therapy, and it's really overwhelming. You have to wear so many different hats between a parenting hat, a therapist hat, a teacher hat, a co-regulation hat, usually a friend hat too, that it is normal to have these really hard days, and it's normal to lose your cool, and it's normal to feel burnt out and stretched really thin. So here's some ways you can start practicing self-compassion. You need to catch your critical voice. When you notice harsh self-talk, you need to pause and ask, would you say this to a friend? Would you say this to another parent in a same situation? If not, then it's not helpful. It's not a helpful story that you are telling yourself. You need to use a self-compassionate reframe. So rather than I'm hopeless, we need to say, that was a hard moment. I'm learning and we're both learning. Parenting is hard and I'm doing my absolute best. And it's okay to be human. Acknowledge the invisible load that you are carrying. Many parents minimize the mental, emotional, and logistical load that they are under. Naming it really helps validate your experience. This is a lot and I'm showing up. I'm carrying so much more unseen effort. Remember, progress over perfection. The goal is not to be flawless, endlessly patient parent. The goal is to be a parent who is growing, modeling self-awareness, and repairing when things go wrong. Kids learn so much better from us taking responsibility and returning to connection after tough moments. And one last truth I want you to take away with you is you are enough, not perfect enough, right here in this messy, real human parenting journey. Self-compassion isn't about exercising unhelpful behavior. It's creating emotional safety you need to keep showing up for yourself and for your child. When we treat ourselves kindly, we model for our children that they too can treat themselves kindly, even when life is hard. That is it for our strategies for today. I'm going to make a part 2 episode where we can discuss some of the other strategies that I had listed, because it's taken a bit of time to actually pick apart some of these strategies. I find people just say, oh, just do some deep breathing. Oh, just do some reflection, where you need to actually go into a bit deeper. Like, how does deep breathing actually help? It seems a bit silly and it seems a bit funny, but how can we actually help properly? Thanks. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for spending some time with me. I know life can be full on and I appreciate you being here. If today's episode has resonated with you, I'd love for you to share it with someone who might need to hear it too. And if you want to keep the conversation going, you can find me over at our socials or on our website. Remember, you're doing an incredible job and you're not alone in this journey. Until next time, take care and be kind to yourself.